May 29, 2026, Denver, Colorado. Morgan Wallen is mid-performance of Sand in My Boots when his piano malfunctions. He finishes the song a cappella, and then, in front of a sold-out stadium, he walks back to the piano, shoves it, and flips it over. Breaks it completely, on stage. 6 days later, June 5, 2026, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. A fan passes her phone to a security guard, hoping the guard can get it to Wallen to film a quick moment. Wallen notices the guard holding the phone. He walks over, takes the phone out of her hand, and throws it across the stage. 2 incidents, 10 days apart, viral footage of both, thousands of words of coverage across every entertainment outlet. And almost none of that coverage mentioned the one fact that makes both of those moments a completely different story. Morgan Wallen is currently on 2 years of active supervised probation. The specific charge he pleaded guilty to, reckless endangerment. The specific thing he did to earn that charge, he threw a chair off the 6th-floor roof of a Nashville bar and nearly hit 2 police officers standing below. He is on probation for throwing things, and he just threw 2 things on camera in front of stadiums full of witnesses. That is the story nobody has connected. Not did he do something embarrassing, not is he being a diva. The question is, what happens to a man on supervised probation when he keeps doing a version of the thing he is on probation for, and whether the courts are paying attention? That is what we are unpacking today. Before we get into the legal specifics, you need to understand the scale of what we are talking about, because this is not a mid-level country singer having a rough month. This is arguably the most commercially dominant artist in any genre right now. Morgan Cole Wallen was born May 13, 1993, in Sneedville, Tennessee. He grew up in a pastor's household, started singing at his local Southern Baptist church at age 3, picked up violin at 5, played piano and guitar, and dreamed of a baseball career as a shortstop and pitcher at Gibbs High School in Knoxville, Tennessee. A torn UCL killed those prospects. Music became the path. He appeared on The Voice in 2014, got far enough to get noticed, built a fan base the slow way, touring small venues, releasing independent music, grinding through the Nashville system until Big Loud Records signed him. His 2021 album, Dangerous, the double album, launched him into a category most country artists never reach. Here is where the numbers start becoming hard to process. Dangerous spent multiple weeks at #1 on the all-genre Billboard 200, not the country chart, the everything chart. His 2023 follow-up, One Thing at a Time, spent 19 weeks at #1 on the Billboard 200, one of the longest-running chart toppers of the entire streaming era. At one point, he simultaneously held half of the top 10 tracks on the Billboard Hot 100, something only 5 other artists in history have done, including Taylor Swift and the Beatles. His 2025 album, I'm the Problem, debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 with the largest streaming week ever recorded for a country album. His current tour, the Still the Problem Tour, running April through August 2026, is playing stadiums across the country, including venues like Michigan Stadium, the largest stadium in the United States. He is the RIAA's highest certified country artist of all time. He has 21 #1 singles at country radio.
He is not just famous. He is a historically dominant commercial force. And right now, in the middle of the biggest tour of his career, he is also a man on active supervised probation. To understand why the Pittsburgh phone and the Denver piano matter legally, you have to understand that the chair was not a first offense. It was the latest entry in a documented pattern that goes back years and that the court system has now twice absorbed without lasting consequence. May 2020, Nashville. Morgan Wallen is arrested for public intoxication and disorderly conduct after an incident at Kid Rock's Honky Tonk Bar on Lower Broadway. Reports describe him getting into multiple verbal altercations and kicking glass items. The charges are eventually dropped. October 2020, Saturday Night Live. Wallen is booked to appear as the musical guest. Videos surface of him partying maskless in a crowd in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, in violation of COVID-19 protocols. SNL drops him from the appearance. He eventually appears on the show in December, turning the incident into a self-deprecating sketch. February 2021, Nashville. A neighbor's doorbell camera captures Wallen returning home drunk after a night out. He can be heard shouting a racial slur. The video is obtained and published by TMZ. Within 24 hours, iHeartMedia pulls his music from approximately 135 stations. Cumulus Media sends a similar order to its 400 stations. SiriusXM and Pandora remove him from playlists. CMT pulls his appearances from all platforms. His label, Big Loud Records, suspends his contract indefinitely. Republic Records agrees with the decision. He is fired by his booking agency. He is disqualified from major awards eligibility. And then, something happened that nobody in the country music industry had a clean answer for. His album sales spiked. Between Tuesday and Wednesday of that week alone, he saw a 1,220% increase in digital album sales and a 327% increase in song sales, according to Rolling Stone. He remained at the top of the Billboard charts for 7 more weeks after the suspension. The industry had effectively exiled him. His audience doubled down. He did rehab. He met with black leaders and music executives. He had conversations with the Black Music Action Coalition. He gave interviews expressing remorse. His label reinstated him. Radio came back. Awards eligibility came back. By late 2021, Morgan Wallen was back on the charts as if nothing had happened. What the 2021 pattern established, and what is critical context for everything that comes after, is that the consequences of Morgan Wallen's behavior have consistently fallen short of their stated severity. Suspended indefinitely, back in months. Dropped by radio, back on the charts anyway. The pattern is not just the bad behavior. It is the resilience of his commercial machine against consequences that would end most careers. Now hold that pattern, because the next entry in it involves a federal criminal charge, and the way that resolved tells the same story, in a language a court can verify. April 7, 2024, Nashville, Tennessee. It is the opening weekend of Chiefs Bar on Broadway, the new 6-story entertainment venue owned by fellow country icon Eric Church. Wallen is there. He had not been expected at the opening. According to a source who spoke to People magazine, he had not spent much time there before the incident. At 10:53 p.m., security footage from the rooftop of the building captures what witnesses and police describe in consistent terms. Wallen picks up a chair. He throws it off the 6th-floor roof. The chair falls 6 stories to the sidewalk below. It lands approximately a yard, 1 meter, from 2 Metro Nashville police officers who are standing outside the bar on patrol. A yard from 2 police officers, 6 floors up. He is witnessed laughing after throwing it. Nashville police file a criminal complaint. Wallen is charged with 3 Class E felony counts of reckless endangerment with a deadly weapon, 2 counts for the 2 officers nearly struck, and 1 count for the threat to the general public, plus 1 misdemeanor count of disorderly conduct. Under Tennessee law, each felony count carries a potential sentence of up to 2 years. The maximum theoretical exposure is 6 years of incarceration. Wallen releases a statement that does not include an apology, but acknowledges he is not proud of his behavior and references making amends. His attorney, Warwick Robinson IV, appears at hearings on his behalf. The initial hearing scheduled for August 2024 is postponed. The August date is pushed to December. 8 months pass. On December 10, 2024, Robinson files a motion to enter a plea with the Nashville District Attorney's Office. On December 12, 2024, Morgan Wallen appears in Davidson County Circuit Court before Judge Cynthia Chappell for the first time since his arrest. He is wearing a gray blazer, black pants, and a black shirt. The original 3 felony counts have been reduced to 2 misdemeanor counts of reckless endangerment. The disorderly conduct charge is dropped entirely. Under the terms of the agreement, Wallen enters a conditional guilty plea pursuant to Tennessee's diversion statute, a legal mechanism that, critically, does not result in a formal conviction. The specific terms of the plea: 7 days at a DUI education center, 2 years of supervised probation, 1 year for each misdemeanor count, a fine of $350 plus court fees, and, upon successful completion of all probation requirements, the charges become eligible for dismissal and expungement, as if they never happened. His attorney's statement to CNN confirmed the key details. The plea does not result in a conviction, and Wallen had cooperated fully with authorities throughout these last 8 months, directly communicating and apologizing to all involved. 3 felony counts, 8 months, a suspended sentence of 11 months and 29 days, 7 days in a DUI education center, $350, and 2 years of supervised probation that, if completed cleanly, erases the record. That is what throwing a chair off a 6th-story roof into a yard near 2 police officers costs in December 2024 Nashville, if your name is Morgan Wallen and your legal team is good enough. Here is where this gets specific and important, because supervised probation in Tennessee is not a formality. It carries real conditions, and violating those conditions has real consequences. Under the terms of Wallen's probation, as reported from the court documents, he is serving 2 years of supervised probation running from December 12, 2024. That means probation runs through approximately December 2026. He is currently, right now, in the middle of that probation period. Supervised probation in Tennessee typically includes conditions such as regular check-ins with a probation officer, compliance with all local, state, and federal laws, avoidance of behavior that could constitute a criminal charge, and, critically, conduct that does not endanger others. Reckless endangerment under Tennessee law is defined as conduct that places or may place another person in imminent danger of death or serious bodily injury. That is the specific statute he pled guilty to. That is the standard he must not cross again for the duration of his probation. Now, consider what happened in Denver on May 29, 2026, and Pittsburgh on June 5, 2026. In Denver, Wallen shoved and flipped a piano on stage. The piano, a significant piece of equipment, was destroyed in the process. The immediate area around a stage at a stadium concert includes crew members, security staff, and, in some configurations, photographers in pit areas. A flipped piano is not a controlled event. It is an object being thrown in an environment where other people are working. In Pittsburgh, Wallen grabbed a phone from a security guard's hand and threw it across the stage. The guard is a person in a professional capacity at his event. The phone was thrown with enough force to travel across the stage. The stage is an environment with crew and production staff.
Neither incident has been confirmed by law enforcement as triggering a probation review. Neither incident has resulted in a new charge being filed as of the most current reporting. But both incidents are now on video. Both are widely circulated. Both occurred in stadiums full of witnesses. And both involve Wallen throwing objects in public, in environments where other people could be struck. The question that nobody in the coverage of either incident stopped to ask in plain terms: does his probation officer know about the piano? Does his probation officer know about the phone? Is either incident being evaluated against the terms of a plea agreement built around reckless endangerment? That is the hidden angle. Not whether he is a bad person, not whether flipping a piano makes him dangerous in some philosophical sense. The specific, legal, documented question of whether two on-camera incidents of throwing objects while on supervised probation for throwing an object are being reviewed by anyone with the authority to act on them. Here's the other layer that makes this story worth understanding fully, because the legal thread does not exist in isolation. It runs alongside a commercial reality that has, every single time, absorbed Wallen's worst moments and emerged larger. His 2025 album, I'm the Problem, was released in May 2025 while he was on probation, while the chair-throwing case had recently resolved. It debuted at #1 with the largest streaming week ever recorded for a country album. It produced his #1 hit, I'm the Problem, on the Billboard Hot 100. It is his third consecutive album to spend over 10 weeks at the top of the Billboard 200. His 2026 Still the Problem tour, named after the album, playing on the public narrative around his behavior, is selling out stadiums. The tour name itself is a kind of branding decision. He is not running from the image, he is packaging it, selling it, putting it on merchandise, putting it in a tour name. He launched Morgan Wallen Radio on Sirius XM Channel 64 in April 2026. His radio station's branding was featured on the livery of race car driver Felix Rosenquist's car at the 2026 Indianapolis 500. He is donating a portion of every ticket sold to the Morgan Wallen Foundation, which supports youth programs in sports and music, and contributed over $600,000 worth of instruments to schools in need across his 2025 touring cities. Every entry in his controversy file is surrounded by an equal or larger entry in his commercial achievement file. The racial slur? Album sales spike 1,220%. The chair-throwing felony charges? Entertainer of the Year at the 2024 CMA Awards, accepted in absentia while the case was pending. The probation? #1 album, record-breaking streaming, stadium tour. The specific economic reality of Morgan Wallen is that his fan base does not appear to be using his legal record as a reason to stop buying tickets or streaming his music. And the specific legal reality is that his legal team has so far successfully navigated every consequence down to its minimum possible form. The question now, the one that the Denver piano and the Pittsburgh phone have placed back on the table, is whether that pattern holds through December 2026, whether 2 years of supervised probation will complete cleanly, the record will be expunged, and the chair-throwing night at Chiefs Bar will become legally as if it never happened, or whether something on camera, in a stadium, in the next 6 months changes that calculation. There is one more documented incident in this recent run that belongs in this story, not because it is a legal issue, but because it completes the picture of what the past 12 months of Morgan Wallen have looked like in full.
March 29, 2025. Wallen appears as the musical guest on Saturday Night Live, his second appearance on the show, the first having been the make-good after his COVID protocol violation in 2020. His performances of I'm the Problem and Just in Case go smoothly, and then as the credits roll, while the cast is typically assembled on stage for the final moments of the broadcast, Wallen walks off, not through the back, through the audience. He leaves the set before the credits finish. He then posts to his Instagram story a photo of a private plane on a tarmac captioned, "Get me to God's country." No explanation. No context. A source who spoke to Page 6 described Wallen as not super friendly to staff and said he had refused to appear in a sketch, requiring Joe Jonas to step in as a last-minute replacement. Wallen later addressed the exit directly, offering a notably simple explanation. "I was just ready to go home. I've been there all week." He subsequently sold merchandise featuring the "Get me to God's country" phrase. It is a small moment in isolation, but placed alongside the piano, the phone, and the chair, a record of behavior that courts and commentators have repeatedly treated as isolated incidents rather than an evolving pattern. It adds something to the picture. not a legal argument, just a consistent portrait of a man whose response to friction in a variety of settings tends toward the impulsive end of the spectrum. His legal team has been skilled enough to keep that portrait from having lasting judicial consequences. The 2021 suspension ended in reinstatement. The 2024 felony charges ended in a misdemeanor plea. The probation terms are designed to complete cleanly and expunge the record. But the Denver piano happened. The Pittsburgh phone happened. Both are on camera. Both are dated. Both are documented during a period of active supervised probation for reckless endangerment. The courts have not, as of the most recent reporting, taken action on either. That may change, it may not. What is certain is that the coverage of both incidents, which was extensive, which was viral, which involved Billboard, TMZ, Rolling Stone, and every major entertainment outlet, did not put those two words together: active probation. Let's be precise about what is knowable and what is not, because that precision is the whole point of this kind of coverage. What is confirmed and sourced: Morgan Wallen is on 2 years of supervised probation, running from December 12, 2024 through approximately December 2026. The probation stems from a conditional guilty plea to 2 misdemeanor counts of reckless endangerment related to throwing a chair off a 6th-story roof. On May 29, 2026, he flipped a piano on stage in Denver. On June 5, 2026, he grabbed a phone from a security guard and threw it across the stage in Pittsburgh. Both incidents are documented on video and reported by major outlets. What is not confirmed: whether either incident has triggered a probation review, whether his probation officer has been made aware of the incidents, whether the Davidson County DA's office is monitoring his conduct, whether any legal action related to probation compliance is being considered. What matters procedurally: in Tennessee, a probation violation does not require a new criminal conviction. A judge can find a probation violation based on evidence of conduct that violates the terms of the agreement, including conduct that places others at risk of harm. The threshold for a violation hearing is lower than the threshold for a criminal charge. The evidence needed is a preponderance, more likely than not, rather than the criminal standard of beyond reasonable doubt. The specific irony that this script is built around is the same behavior pattern, impulsive throwing of objects in public spaces, that created the original legal jeopardy is now recurring on camera during the probation period designed to monitor his conduct. A probation officer reviewing publicly available video of a man on probation for reckless endangerment throwing objects on stage in front of thousands of witnesses would have grounds to at minimum ask questions.
Whether those questions are being asked is the story that nobody has reported on yet. Wallen's probation runs through December 2026. His Still the Problem tour runs through August 2026. He has remaining stadium dates with more than a month of shows still ahead. New music is reportedly coming. His commercial momentum is by every metric at its highest point. The man on probation for throwing things is still throwing things. The cameras are rolling, and somewhere a probation officer has a job to do. Here is where we land. Morgan Wallen is the most commercially successful country artist alive, possibly the most commercially successful country artist of all time. He's on a stadium tour. He has a record-breaking album. He has a Sirius XM channel. He is donating instruments to schools. He is also on active supervised probation for reckless endangerment, a charge directly tied to throwing an object in a public space in a way that endangered the people around him. And in the past month, he has thrown a piano on stage in Denver and thrown a phone across the stage in Pittsburgh. Both incidents went viral. Both generated enormous press coverage. And in all of that coverage, across every major outlet that wrote about either incident, the word probation appeared in fewer sentences than it should have. That is the angle.
Not a verdict, not a speculation about what his probation officer is doing, just the plain, sourced, documented fact that three things are true simultaneously. He is on probation, the probation is specifically for throwing things, and he has thrown things twice in the last month. Leave me your take in the comments. Do you think the Pittsburgh and Denver incidents should be reviewed against his probation terms? Do you think the pattern of the last 5 years, from the bar in 2020 to the slur in 2021 to the chair in 2024 to the piano and phone in 2026, changes how you look at any individual incident? And do you think the commercial machine around Morgan Wallen is large enough that no legal consequence could ever slow it down? Subscribe if you want this tracked through December 2026. The probation either completes clean and the record gets expunged, or something changes. Either way, this channel will be here for it.